I'm here to talk to you today on day 7 or day 8 of the government shutdown about the fact that I believe we need a new government. Regardless of whether or not you consider yourself conservative, moderate, or liberal, poor, managing, or rich, I think we can all agree that there's something seriously wrong with our government. And I ask all of you to go read the Declaration of Independence. I'm not going to read it to you. You can Google it. Go read it yourself. But in it, it gives us the right to replace our government when the abuses have gone on for such a long time that it's no longer tolerable. And that we need to put a new system in place for our own safety and our own future security. If our government continually abuses our trust, our safety, and holds us hostage by ruling absolutely and not doing as we wish, it is our duty to replace it. We're not to do so over one issue. But when the abuse is constant, consistent, and long-standing, we are obligated to do something about it. When the majority of the citizens of this country are upset over many instances of abuses of the system, when the majority of the citizens of this country are upset to the point where they're turning on one another, it's time to take a really hard look at what's going on and start thinking about changes. I believe this government needs to be restructured, not at the basic level. The processes that our founding fathers put into place should remain. The legislative, executive, and judicial processes should remain in place. However, the people that are managing these branches are out of control. Some of these people I like, and some of these people I don't like, but I am officially appalled at the way these branches are now run and the amount of money spent on running them. And the attitudes of those that we have entrusted to serve us. We pay our congressmen and congresswomen $174,000 a year. More if they're a leader of the House or the Senate, the majority or the minority. They also get a minimum of $1 million a year for office expenses, personnel, and mailing. That's if they're in the House. If they're in the Senate, they get over $3 million a year. And $40,000 a year for furniture. And really, those are just the expenses that I can stomach dealing with at this point. There's more. But I can't deal with it right now. So, I know somebody who believes that civil war is the answer, and I would hope that it would never, ever come to that. But a lot needs to change, and it needs to change now. And the first thing that needs to change is that we the people need to come together and not let our leaders' sound bites affect our thoughts and feelings any longer. And then we need to restructure this government. In my opinion, that restructure would look like this. Everyone currently employed by our government in an elected capacity is now serving their last term. New elections will be held to replace everyone. If you're currently running, you're not eligible to run ever again. 2 terms is what you get if you're in the legislative branch. Salaries will be reduced to the average income in the country, which is currently just over $51,000. Let's remember, this is a public service position, not a career. There will be no pension for members of the legislative or executive branch. Think about the kind of money that our former presidents pull in on speaking engagements. We don't need our taxpayer dollars covering a pension for them. They're fine. The federal government's duties will be the following and only the following: defense, to include the armed forces, the FBI, the CIA, and immigration. Social security, transportation, to include air traffic control and infrastructure, import and export, the Food and Drug Administration, and the United States Postal Service. And that's it. Everything else goes back to the states. Personally, I think a flat tax system ought to be instituted. If you get a W-2 or a 1099, you pay a percentage of that to the government and a percentage of that to the state. And that's it. There's no write-offs. There's no cheating. It is what it is. W-2, 1099. My guess is somewhere around 8 to 10%, but I don't really know because I'm not an accountant. These are my ideas. And I know that they're not fleshed out, and I know that I don't have numbers to back them up, but they're my ideas. And you may agree with them and you may disagree with them. And that's your right. But my question to you, if you do disagree with my ideas, is what is your plan?